I had to stop in the middle of getting ready for a date because I had to make this video. I have to rant. I have to rant for a second. In this dating world, 2023, it is already difficult enough for all of us. Men, women, whoever you're out there trying to find as your person, it's already tough enough.
Let's play.
I have to admit, this is kind of impressive. You just completely nullified your argument in less than 10 seconds. Whatever you're about to say next simply doesn't matter because you are getting ready for a date. A majority of men on dating apps can't even get an awkward one-word response from a woman, let alone an entire date. Meanwhile, you, a clearly middle-aged woman, still get more options than you deserve. So I don't think it's a good idea for you to say that men have it hard when it comes to dating in the 21st century. Whatever petty crap you're going through is nothing compared to the massive group of lonely men out there who you ignore on a day-to-day basis. But as I'm sure you're finding out rather quickly, those men who do talk to you aren't interested in making you their person. They're more interested in that sandy pothole of disaster that you're packing. Because I guess every now and again, Chad needs some low-effort practice.
Swipe left, swipe right. How many people are people talking to? How many dates are people going on? Blah, blah, blah. I am approaching 45. It's already tough enough. So I had to deal with today somebody who wants to know if I have bat wings. Bat wings. I didn't even know what bat wings were. I had to Google them.
Lady, I hate to beat a dead horse, but you do not have it that hard when it comes to dating. The effort of swiping left and right and wondering whether or not that guy is seeing other people shouldn't come as a mystery to you, because rest assured, if that guy is asking you if you had bat wings, he most certainly is seeing other people. Otherwise, he never would have bothered asking, because a lot of guys out there aren't that direct unless they have a roster, and believe you me, Jed has plenty of numbers on speed dial. Sound familiar? It took you 45 years, but now you're getting a mere taste of what men had to endure during our younger years. But now that it's happening to you, you somehow feel it's unjust. But I hate to break it to you, there isn't enough mental gymnastics in the world to make that remotely true.
And when I found out, I was appalled. It's the arm stuff here? Really? Really? That's what you wanted to know before you went out with me? Not on this date. I'm still gonna go on this date tonight. However, please, men, people, whoever, be better. Be better than that. Bat wings? Really? That was a quick unmatch.
Go, girl! You get it, girl! You hear that? You got it, girl!
Yeah, that'll show him. I'm sure that guy is sitting in his living room, dressed to the nines for this date, and making a TikTok video wondering why you unmatched him and swearing a vow to his maker that he'll do better so he can have the privilege of dating women in their mid-40s. Get real, lady. If anybody needs to do better, it's you. Not everything that happens to you on a dating app warrants a video on TikTok complaining about how miserable your dating life is simply because a man had the gall to be direct about his physical preferences. Nobody's gonna listen to what you have to say and actually try to change for the better. And if you truly think that you wield the power to try to force men to change their ways simply because you want more out of them, then I would pity you if what you were saying wasn't a treasure trove of comic gold. Thanks for that, by the way.
Guys, I went on a date this week and I felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of like the artsier part of LA, you know? It's people say it's like Brooklyn and New York. So I go on dates with a lot of men and women who, you know, live over here. There's always a negotiation about who pays, and that's great. I like to pay for people, all that.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
But what I will say is that I sort of fell into going on a date with the most guy I've ever been on a date with. And he's from West, you know, Santa Monica. He's a bro, right?
Congratulations!
So you're part of a bonkers ideological cult which encourages you to date soy boys and other militant feminists in unsatisfying dates that deep down leave you miserable. And then somehow, through an act of the intergalactic space god Klobuchar, all hail, you got to go out on a date with Chad, then all of a sudden you wanted to abandon feminism. If that's the case, then you give weak-minded people a run for their money, because what you're describing is nothing new. It is basic biology. Women are attracted to masculine men. That's the way it's been since since the dawn of time, and you're sitting there eating cereal that just looks unpleasant, and you're acting like this is some kind of a shocking revelation. Well, gee whiz, lady, next thing you're gonna tell me is that ice cream is a popular choice for an after-dinner treat.
A guy's guy is usually not my type. Like, I cannot remember the last time that I went on a date with like a straight bro, you know what I'm saying? But it befell me. It befell me in an organic fashion. So I'm on this date with this guy, and the thing about a guy's guy is he's putting his card down. He's paying for everything. And I really it sort of activated something feral in me, I'm not gonna lie.
And here we go.
Wow, so all it took for you to abandon your political views was for a good-looking guy to pay for your dinner. So essentially, you got turned on by money. More specifically, Chad's money. You see, your biological instincts to breed were suddenly activated when you realized that you were on a date with a man that could potentially provide for you and your children so you don't have to work anymore. And if that's the case, that doesn't mean you took the red pill or abandoned feminism. That just means when given the opportunity, you'll mooch off any man just so long as you don't have to pay for anything. If we're being perfectly honest here, that's to be expected from a weak-minded individual. And if you're just gonna end up using a man for his money, that makes you something worse and more annoying than a feminist.
That's why I say prostitutes.
Went to like another bar, and he was gonna go to the bathroom, so I was getting prepared to pay for our drinks because he's been paying all night. Of course I'm gonna pay for the next round.
Liar, liar, liar.
But as he's going to leave for the bathroom, he turns to me and he hands me his credit card. And he goes, "Here's my card. Get us whatever." It might be time for me to get away from all these, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
A credit card was all it took to make you mustier than a Turkish steam room in August. Lady, that's not a masculine man. He bought your affection and you fell for it hook, line, and sinker. So take my advice. Stick with the liberal snowflakes, because a real self-respecting man will not tolerate any of your feminist behavior, and that's if they want anything to do with you at all. You've dated men and women, which leads most of us to believe that you have a body count on par with the good Total Recall movie, and self-respecting men find that kind of behavior repugnant. Trust me on this one. Self-respecting men are gonna take one look at you and immediately know your value and what you'll add onto their lives, and there's a specific dollar amount that they will be willing to spend once they realize that.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
So I think it's important to put an explanation, or explain at least, like what a good guy is. Because I think we're missing the key point of how this entire series at this point started. So my intro video was, it's okay to leave the good guy. So what is a good guy? The good guy is what everyone else gets to see. The good husband is what we get to see. That's what the partner sees, or the good wife in some of your situations.
Boy, oh boy, do we have a treat, gentlemen and gents. This woman, whom I'm going to henceforth refer to as Enid, is back again to dig herself deeper into the hole she created for herself. For those of you who have forgotten Enid's claim to fame, allow me to refresh your memory.
I left the good guy.
Well, after all of us had a field day and our fair share of laughs by ripping apart her logic, or lack thereof, Enid here has decided that she's gonna get back onto the internet to whip up some good old-fashioned word salad to try and gaslight the lot of us to justify her terrible behavior. Unfortunately for Enid, she's simply not that smart and somehow forgot that what you post on the internet is forever, and we all kept the receipts. So sit back and relax, gentlemen and gents, this one's gonna be fun.
You're their person. So they've got your back, okay? That's somebody that can be intimate with you, and it means something. You feel connected, you feel close, you feel loved during intimate moments. That is going out of your way for your partner, even when it sort of inconveniences you. It's something that you want to do because it's something that they need from you. Okay, it is an emotional connection. It is, do you want them to feel better? Do you know how to talk to them when they are sad or upset or overjoyed? I think those are just a couple of things that make a good partner, that make a good husband or a good wife. But nobody is going to know if that person is a good husband or a good wife unless you're married to them.
Check, please.
And your argument's been completely eradicated. What you've just said is that you didn't like the way he conducted the stank train to Tuna Town, but you're trying to use a whole bunch of poetic, vague terminology to try to say that the guy who married you wasn't satisfying you as the same man who impregnated you. And if you ask me, this guy was probably doing his best to do so. And if you want to argue, that's fine, but let's take a look at a receipt to prove why you wouldn't let him.
So I was married for 10 years. I got married young. I was 21, barely, like 3 days, 21. Already had a baby. He was 8 weeks old at our wedding. And I remember feeling like my marriage was temporary from the beginning.
You were never attracted to the man in the first place. You knew the marriage was going to fail, but that didn't stop you from latching onto him so he'd take care of your illegitimate spawn. That's all you really wanted from him. So if you ask me, all you've done is prove the point that this guy you married was pretty much a stand-up guy. Not off to a good start, Enid. What else you got?
He's a good guy. Was he a good husband? Only I can answer that. Lucky for me, we have kids together, so hopefully we can be friends, and right now we're doing a great job at that. But we both knew that we aren't meant to be together.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
He didn't really start this process. I guess it was more so me, because I was always looking for someone else because I didn't know how to be loved. And will I regret that? Maybe. I don't know. I don't regret it right now. And I don't think he does either. So I think that's important to bring to the table. So many of you think that you know the whole story and you're saying, well, the good guys can't win and you're going to regret this and he deserves somebody better. I might, and he does, and he is a good guy, but just because you're a good guy doesn't make you a good husband, so don't get that twisted. You still have to put in the effort with the woman at home or with the man at home to make it work. You can't just be a good person and automatically think that you're going to be a good spouse, because that's not how that works.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
Enid, the reason why you don't regret divorcing this man is because you were able to get custody of your children as well as alimony and child support. And then you try to turn around and say that the divorce was mutual when we've already proven that it was always going to be initiated by you. And then you're going to sit there and try to say that your ex wasn't a good husband because he wasn't putting forth the effort. So let's go ahead and take a look at receipt number 2 and see how little effort this guy was putting into the marriage.
He did the dishes. He cleaned the house. He took the kids to school. He worked all day. He made good money. He supported us. I mean, yeah, we had our problems, but he was the good guy.
Wow, that dude is a real bastard. He pretty much did all the things that you were supposed to do, plus he was the primary earner of the household income. That is a monster. But let me ask you something, Enid. What more did you want from him? Don't answer that because we already know. You wanted him to be the guy you couldn't have. You know, the guy who was the original father of your children. You couldn't show 1 ounce of gratitude towards him with the household responsibilities or your responsibilities in the bedroom. It was always about you, wasn't it, Enid? And now you're sitting there trying to bash this guy who seemingly waited on you and your children hand and foot for the better part of 10 years? That's pretty shameful, Enid, even for you.
Checkmate.
Bang.
Being a good person usually doesn't take that much effort. Being a good spouse takes effort, and it has to be effort that you're willing to put in. And some of you said, well, were you willing to put it in? Probably not. Probably not, because it's hard to be good to somebody when you don't feel like they're being good to you. And then it's who makes the sacrifice first. And I don't know if either one of us did that. So there's my accountability for the day. You're right. It was partially my fault. 100%. I will take 50% of that 100% that it was my fault.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so if I'm understanding your babble correctly, you're saying that it was your ex-husband's fault that you weren't willing to put in any effort to make the marriage work, and that's the partial reason why you're 100% responsible for taking 50% of the blame for the divorce? Enid, it was always your plan to end the marriage because you didn't want to marry him in the first place. You've stated this multiple times. And then you try to say that the divorce was justified because he wasn't pulling his weight when we have a receipt that paints a completely different picture.
So I'm here to tell you, it's okay to leave the good guy. Don't stay because he's the good guy. Leave because he's not the guy for you.
Enid, you can't just try and change the story when countless men have already picked apart the original video. And even then, you still had no idea what you were saying. At no point have you taken any accountability for what you've done simply because you don't feel like you should have to. You married the guy out of convenience, and instead of actually owning up to the fact that you're a terrible person who used a man for your own benefit, you're just gonna blame him for not being Chad. Well, guess what, Enid? You may think Chad's waiting for you out there, but trust me, Chad wants nothing to do with a woman who not only went out of her way to dig her own grave of eternal loneliness, but also a woman who refuses to admit she hammered the coffin nails herself. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thanks again for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.